Hello my friends, welcome to Breakfast with Sergio. This is episode number 113, and in this episode I'm going to show you how to do Art Basel Miami week on a small tight budget. How to do Art Basel on a small budget. Well, my friends, welcome back. I'm super happy to have you here. Just got back from Miami over the weekend, and now I'm kind of on a healthy breakfast for this whole week. So what I made, I put on the pan this morning a little bit of a few chopped squares of ham. I put some slices of zucchini, some slices of squash, some slices of tomato, a little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic, and corn, and I mix it all together. And it smells delicious. I'm sure it's gonna taste really well. And of course, I have my green drink. So my friend, today I want to talk a little bit about how to do Art Basel Miami week on a tight budget, because maybe this is something that you want to do. Maybe you have heard me talking about it. Maybe you saw my previous episode, and if you haven't, check it out, where I talk about why I make a point in my calendar to go to Art Basel Miami every single year. So if this is something you want to do, maybe you have never done before, or maybe you have done it but it was too expensive and you want kind of some tips on how you do it on the cheap, on the budget, well, I want to give you some pointers. Well, the first thing you gotta do, my friend, is you gotta plan ahead. You really have to plan early on. You gotta decide right now if this is something you want to do next December. Put it in your schedule. So this is something that I have already decided I'm going to do. So it's already on the schedule. I'm waiting for the exact dates of when Art Basel Miami Week 2019 will be. And that's what it's already on my mind. Next thing you want to do, of course, if you are close by, of course, you can drive or you can carpool with someone. But if you need to fly, one option that I have for you is download the app that's called Hopper, Hopper, Hopper. And the app called Hopper, what you can do is you can put the dates you want to go, and it will be always looking for the best prices. So you will get a notification when the app thinks this is the best price you do not want to miss, and that's when you want to book your ticket. Another option you have is to look at bundle packages. For example, Expedia has bundle packages, and many other websites too, where you get cheaper rate if you book both the flight along with the hotel together, which is an option. You can stay in a hotel. There are many hotels in Miami, tons of them, but you gotta reserve early on if you want to get the best prices. Now also, if you don't want to, if maybe hotel is a little bit too much of an expense for you, and if you're really looking for a really tight budget planning for you for Miami, then what I recommend is do an Airbnb. And this is something I have done before with other artists. Say, hey, I'm gonna go to Miami, who wants to join me in an Airbnb? And then maybe 2 or 3 we get together, we find an Airbnb that has space for all of us, and then we book it ahead of time. And that is also really convenient. Now if you really are tight on budget, you can always do a hostel. There's a number of hostels right on Miami. Actually, in Miami Beach area, there's one at least where you can also stay if you don't mind staying at a hostel. But the cool thing about Airbnb, which I like, is a lot of times you meet other people that also have come for the fairs, and so you get there, and not only is you, but you also meet other people, which could be other artists from other parts of the world, galleries and so on, who may be staying also in the Airbnb. So that is pretty cool. In my experience, I have always met people when I stay on Airbnb who are part of the of the Art Basel thing. So that's another option you have. So that gives you a tight place to stay and safe, on a tight budget. Now when it comes to location, where Art Basel happens in the convention center, that's a big Art Basel. However, there are around 15 to 20 satellite art fairs all throughout Miami. So you will find a number of them on the Miami Beach area and a number of them in downtown Miami, and then Wynwood area, and a few others spread everywhere in between. So you want to plan ahead too. You don't want to stay way too far out that you're going to spend a lot of money back and forth every day going to the fairs. What I recommend is either close in Miami Beach area, South Beach, closer to the Art Basel, closer to the Miami Convention Center near Art Basel is really a good location, and I have found Airbnbs there at really great prices when booking really early. Another option, you can stay in Wynwood area, which you'll probably find cheaper options than in the Miami Beach area. And what you can do in terms of transportation, going from Miami Beach area to downtown or Wynwood, you want to look at the free shuttle buses. There are free shuttle buses that take people from the major art fairs. For example, they will take you from Art Miami Context. They will have a bus, a little shuttle bus that will drive you to Art Basel Miami Beach area, to the Art Basel area, the convention center, back and forth all throughout every day. You just have to look at the schedule, see when they are going back and forth, and that'll save you a lot of money, that otherwise you would have to pay in Uber or taxi or public transportation, which is not the greatest, but it depends on what location you may be at. So that can save you also a lot of money if you plan ahead, if you stay closer to some of these concentric areas where you have the biggest art fairs. So then you can take advantage of those shuttle buses. So that's how you can save money. Another big expense is food, right? Food is also a big expense, especially if you are in Miami Beach area. Well, all the restaurants along the Miami Beach corridor are expensive, and there are at all budgets. There are not some of them which are very reasonable. But if you really want to go for the really cheap stuff, which again, this episode is all about how to save money if you are on a tight budget, so you can still go and make it next year to Art Basel Miami. And you can tell me, Sergio, I enjoy your episode and I'm here because I took all your advice and I'm here on a tight budget and it's working great. So another place, one for me particularly, I love Cuban food. So one place, when we stay in the Wynwood area, there's a place called Enriqueta's, which is a fabulous small cafeteria style. It's on the corner. You just look it up. I don't know the address. Just Google up Enriqueta's, and you get there, and breakfast, huge, fabulous breakfast, and the place is always packed. And that's a great place to have breakfast, to have a lunch, even to have dinner or things to go. And it's a place where I like to go every time I'm able, if I'm in the Wynwood area. Now, if you are in the Miami Beach area, well, there are a number of small places. You just have to look around. You just have to really ask the locals, ask the local people, where is a good cafeteria style place where you can go and save some money. Again, it depends on what you are looking for. That's what you will find. So, depends on what kind of food you like as well. Like I said, when I go, I'm always looking for the Cuban places because I love those, and especially the small, tiny little cafeterias. I love those. You eat cheap, you eat well, and huge plates as well, which is really good. And that's why now I'm coming back home and I'm eating a little bit healthier now with my veggie plate. So my friend, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Oh, and one last thing. As far as each art fair, of course, charges you. Of course, every art fair has a fee to get in. So it could be really expensive going through fair to fair because, it is everyone charge money. So what you want to do, if you're going to go to Art Basel Miami, what you want to do is maybe early on start sharing it in your social media and say, hey, friends, I'm going to Art Basel Miami week. If you have passes, please let me know. I would really appreciate if you share a pass. Every artist who participates in an art fair, for a lot of times they get passes so that they can invite their friends. So it's very common that somebody can give you a pass, somebody can share a link where you can print a pass. But again, do it earlier so that is easier for you as well to do that. Sometimes, if artist gets a pass, then they can give the pass to somebody else. So we have done that as well when I was going on a tight budget, and that saves a lot of money because if you're visiting 8 fairs, 10 fairs, each one will charge you, I don't know, between 10, 15 dollars. So it could get really expensive. Art Basel is quite expensive. It's over $40. So it can get really pricey. So make sure you share it with your friends and say, hey, I'm doing this. Let me know if you have passes. So my friends, hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope I see you next year at Art Basel Miami week, and hopefully these tips will be helpful for you. Thanks so much. I'm gonna get back to my breakfast, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.